going to show you how to make a loop. Well, how I make it. So this is what I do is grab a piece of steel or wire left over from your bender. Then what I do is I get a lighter. All I do is just warm it up like that, and then the holes that you make or that you made on the back of the stick or on both sides of the sticks. These are called upright sticks. So basically on the upright sticks, the main sticks, so basically you made two holes for the top, one for your loop and the other one is for your bender, which is this, to give you like a dome shape. So basically this is your top loop, and then this is your tail loop, which is called the bottom loop. Now where we're going to be starting off, we're going to be starting off at the bottom. Now these holes right here that we drilled earlier prior to the video before this, all I'm going to do is take this and push it down through the hole, so basically it comes out looking like this. So it allows you to slide the string through on both sticks, and I'm going to show you that right now. So just like this, now you created a loop. I'm just gonna make a couple nuts in the back, or you can just tie it on to this line, but I like making nuts in the back, so if I need to do any adjustments I can do so. What you're doing is just making a couple nuts so it doesn't slide back through the hole. And that's basically it. That little nut is basically all it takes to go in the back of this kite. As you can see, it doesn't come through. Now we're going to flip this kite back over, and we're going to line the loop up to the cross stick, which is this stick. This is the cross stick. That's how you get the shape. So basically I'm taking the line that I just put a nut in back of, and basically I'm getting up to the center, which is centered right here, so where the nail is. Go from there, and then roughly about 3 inches, you can use your finger, and roughly about 3 inches I just cut off and proceed, to make another nut in the back side of it again. Basically just like this, and it's all done. You can give it a tug, a little gentle tug, so you basically know that it's not coming through. That one needs another nut. There you go. real gentle tug. Now we're getting back up straight up to the top, just like this, so you can see it. It is on up to the nail. Now what I do is use your pointer finger and your thumb and just grip it, and all you do is just want to slide down roughly about halfway, so basically you create a little loop like this. And then what you do is you make a little knot, and it stops it from sliding. That's all. So then you should create a loop without even holding it with your two fingers, just like that. But I like flipping it over to know exactly if I done it correctly, because if the loop is too much to this side, when you go to fly your kite, the kite will spin this way. If it's too much to this side, it will spin this way. Basically you want it as even as possible all the way across. If you're not 110% sure if it's straight, use an excess piece of string, just put it through the loop like so, and then just pull it up to the nut. As you can see, this is straight, so that helps the balance of the kite. Now let's move to the top loop. Now what we do is, to the top, we just repeat the process that we did on the bottom. But what we do is we make this loop smaller than this one. So here we go. If the line won't go all the way through, like this hasn't, just take a a general little poker or wire that you use to punch the holes back through with, and just gentle push it through, and the line should come through with ease. Like so. Now we're going to take the line and we're going back onto the other side. And we're going to push the line back through again. Just like so. Now we're going to make a knot again, so this line won't come out. I like making 2 to 3 turns before tying it off for each loop. So basically all it does is it creates a ball. That's all it does. The bigger the ball is, the less chance the line has chance of coming through the stick when the kite is flying. Now what I do is, for this last part, which I just jumped, I make another knot like so over the top of those 2 knots that I just made. I'm going to make another knot again, just a couple of them, but then when you get onto the end, the loop has to be between the first and second knot, and then all you gotta do is just pull it, so it creates a jumbled up nut like so, and then just pull it back gently, give it a slight tug if you need be, and then you know that's not coming out. On the back side, again, it's straight down to the nut. Now this kite is dropped 1/2 inch, so all I gotta do is just come up 1/2 inch off the center stick, and then that's where this line needs to be. So basically what I'm gonna do is straight down to the nut, meaning straight down to the nail, like so. Again, use your finger, just measure off 3 inches, which I do, and then just cut the line or burn it anyway, and just repeat the process of putting 3 to 4 nuts on the back of this. Just like so, as is done, and just pull it back again, give it a slight general tug so it doesn't come out. The line should be on the nail or just below it, doesn't matter, or it can be above it. Now what I'm gonna do is make a loop. So use these 2 fingers again, just gradually pull it. So, you know, just a little small loop. Make sure you give yourself enough room to make a loop, and just gonna fill it back in on itself and pull it through. Now you don't want your nut to be way over here or way over here, because if it's way over here, that means the line isn't tight all the way across. You want your nut to be running off of the head stick, which this is what this is called. And just give it a general little tug so it tightens it up on that little nut, and you should be ready to go. Next step is take a piece of line, put it down between the loop, the little loop that you made, now the hole that you made in the middle from this, which you just heat it up and push through like so. I'm just gonna push the line through it like that, and the line should be on the other side, which it just fell out. See, now the line should be through. Now what I like to do is make a little nut in the back, just one little nut, don't need a lot of nuts, just make one like so, like that. And now how this stick overlaps all these other sticks, I just go in the back where this little gap is, this little gap. All I do is just push it through so it comes out on the other side, and just make a slight little knot in back like this. I like to leave access, so if the loop is not where I want it to be, when I go to fly the kite, I can always make multiple knots if need be to shorten the loop. But I'll show you what I mean. Now your loop is like this, right? So the top part is mount, all the way down here is pulling. Where I like to be is roughly in the middle. So you can either use your finger or a measuring tape. Or a ruler, which I'm going to use the measuring tape so you can see. What I like to do is go down 2 inches. So if you want to mark it, you can, which is 2 inches, is roughly about here. You can also use your finger as well, and that will give you that. Now that 2 inches that I just marked is roughly half and half going on to pull it. Going on to mount it. Now you can either make your loop where your line goes through on that line that you just made, or you can, the knot that you made for this little loop, you can put here. So basically you put the knot on the line and just make a general knot in the normal line. I'm just going to cut this. You don't need too much line. So I'm just going, from the top of the head stick straight down to the bottom. That's all I need. Just for the actual little piece that I'm going to be using. So the nut is going to be on the line like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to go take this piece of line that you just cut over the stick that's coming, the line that's coming from out of this hole, running straight up the stick, and just give it a general little pull. So all it does is creates a nut like so. And then what I do is I normally put 2 to 3 nuts, so it stops that line from coming out like this. So the line is done. It's, as you can tell, it's just below the nut, before the line that we made. Just give it a slight little gentle pull and it should come back. Now this loop, you just want to make sure the line is straight and the loop is not, sagging to one side like that or the other side. You just want to make sure it's straight as possible. I like to make sure it's straight because I know that it's done. It's not going to move or it's going to disrupt it. But this little loop, it doesn't matter if it's either on here or over here, because your kite will still fly okay, and will also adjust itself out as it's flying. Now what I like to do is, with this extra bit of line, just make a bigger loop, because I'm just going to feed a swivel through it. So if the kite goes down, or when you stop flying, you can just unclip it, and you can also pack up your line and your kite tail. So just like so, a little gentle pull so it tightens up everything, and then you create a loop like so. Next step is you got a swivel. Some people just tie the line straight onto it. I don't like to, but just gonna take the swivel, make a little loop at the bottom, and gently push it through the eye of the swivel, and just hook it over the swivel like so, and it just stops it off, and it's straight, and there you go. I like to just hook the swivel around the tail loop, so when you go to start, the loops won't be catching on other kites or anything that you may have. So the loop, for the main loop, this is what it should look like. It should look somewhat like this. So basically now when the kite flies, it should fly something like this, and what it does, it helps the pressure of the wind to hit against the face of the kite, and allows the wind to hit the hammer, which is this piece, hits this, and just what vibrates and makes the noise.